So we got to get away from these non-renewables. We're going to get away from that now. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to use the wet cell technology, and the wet cell is phenomenally simple. I mean, you're going to see thousands of these things built on YouTube everywhere you go. I mean, not exactly like this, you know. A lot of people have their own ideas and their own design. It's all about making hydrogen and oxygen. It's mixed together when you're making HHO. You turn it on and you burn it, and then you turn it off when you're done using it. So we're going to cover some technology here. Well, in here I guess a picture's worth 1,000 words. Let me show you what we got here. This is some of the stuff inside this folder. I said I'd cover everything. And I'd love to spend a lot of detailed time on this stuff and talk about each picture. I'll talk about a little bit of it, but we're running out of time. See, we should have been on hydrogen a long time ago. And if we'd had this technology just a few years ago, I think we'd be there already. So I'm doing a lot of my own research, you know. Once you see what's going on here, it doesn't take a lot to figure it out yourself. That's why the wet cell's so famous, you know. It's simple, it's basic, it's cheap, it's easy. You know, we're going to build these things out of what we have available, you know. Water. What's scary, check this out. Check this out, look at this. This is just one day at my house here. This is just one day. Look at all this plastic. So see, the hydrogen fuel cell technology is going to get us away from this little plastic stuff like this. I'm not saying get rid of plastic completely. I mean, you can't even build a damn hydrogen cell without some plastic. I mean, plastic's important, but think about it. If we're producing our water at home, a large, vast majority of these plastic containers will disappear because they're all ending up in the ocean. Think about that. And a lot of this stuff isn't getting recycled like they're telling you. I mean, this is just one day. I mean, there's even more in the kitchen. So it's ending up in our ocean. If you want to get rid of these plastic bottles, we'll have water producing technology that where everything in the house is producing the fresh water. And of course, you're going to have to filter it again once it's made. But we can do all that at home, guys. Think about that. Think about that. So I'm talking about using all the plastic. You can make a hydrogen fuel cell out of each and every one of these too. I can make a fuel cell out of this. Take me 5 minutes. So that's another thing we could do. Every one of these is a potential hydrogen fuel cell. It's easy to do that. Something to think about. So getting the plastics down to a manageable level where we're producing our own water at home, our own fresh, clean drinking water. We won't even need any deliveries or anything. We're saving money. It's the power of hydrogen. Clean this planet up, guys. This is our last chance, probably. The aliens aren't going to give us another chance. They've seen the destruction we've done, and I think that's has a lot to the reason why we're under the boat that we're in. So that's something to think about right there. If the electrons were shared equally, the water molecule would be a straight line like that. Think about how funny that would look. But see, as a tetrahedron, it looks like that. So the actual water molecule displays design characteristics. Now think about that. Who would build that? You know, who built that? So that's something to think about. That's some of the stuff I wanted to show you and how important this oxygen atom really is. Now the hydrogen's important. Everybody wants to talk about the fuel, but nobody wants to mention the oxygen atom, and that's extremely important to HHO. And the electron, don't forget about that. You know, this is the electricity and matter. It's everywhere. It's easy to get. Just wanted you to see that, something to think about. You know, you got to be able to harness and control and manipulate these atoms. Think about that. That's the most important part, is understanding this stuff down at the molecular level. Just wanted to throw that in there, cover some of that with you. Understanding matter, understanding the water molecule, but remember the oxygen atom is super important. Let's move on. And don't forget, with nothing more than a fish bubbler and a $2.50 piece of recyclable tubing, I was able to control the combustion rate of the oxyhydrogen gas and take it all the way up to rocket fuel, all the way to burning down leaves and paper. So I could raise it up and down the scale and control the burn rate of the gas using a fish bubbler, using the nitrogen, the ambient air. So you can control the burn rate of the gas with a $2.50 piece of recyclable tubing. And that was the key to the technology there, to match any land-based vehicle. So you can match the burn rate of gasoline or any other fuel. See, this is very important. Electricity, the basic charge in matter, and electrons, charged particles that cause the flow of electricity. All this is very important right there. Electromagnetism, the force that binds electrons and nuclei. So you got to understand a little bit about the electron, you know, electricity, what comes out of the wall, what comes off a battery. It's very important when you get into HHO. For those of you people that don't know this, it takes electricity to do this. You got to have that 21st century fire. So I'm just pointing some of this stuff out. No, I warned you guys. I told you guys months ago that they had plans for all of us. And you be battling these snakes. That's right. Let's see, we're on to their technology now. So there's every chance of us building an escape craft and getting out of here. We'll get into that in another video, but let's check this out, check this out. Look, I want to show you guys something. Let's talk about the exciter array. See, in these wet cells, you know, a lot of people build a wet cell. They can use any type of metal that they seem fit, you know. You can use stainless steel on both sides. You can use carbon fiber. You know, you want to start simple. You can start with stainless steel on both sides. That works real good. You're going to get a little bit of rust, but it's no big deal. Let's take a look in here. Let's look at the electrodes in the exciter array. I want you guys to see this. You'll see in a wet cell, it's super simple. I mean, literally, you could put a fork and a spoon in there and hook it up to these bolts, and this thing would run. You could use spatulas, pizza wheels. I'm not kidding. It's that easy. Let me show you this, if you had to. See, in the bottom of these fuel cells, I put a diffuser. So you drill some holes in a piece of PVC and you seal it up in there. That way the gas comes out uniform. It's very important. I'm just going to fly through these pictures. Here we go. Nice clean connections, 3/8 bolts. You got to be able to handle that amperage. These fuel cells pull a lot of amps. That's how you make HHO gas. Different electrodes for testing things. So it's a very simple exciter array. It fits right in the bottom in there. I've built many of them where you could remove it, but these are permanent. These are prototypes. Nothing has to be perfect. They just have to be separated. And depending on how many neutrals you add depends on how much electrolyte you're going to end up adding. So don't add too many neutrals, and don't put things too far apart at the center array. Think about that. Nice clean connections. Everything's nice and tight. So you know, back in the 1960s, you know, they had hydrogen fuel cell technology that took man to the moon, all the way to the moon. And they didn't have any LEDs back then. All they had was some incandescent bulbs and a couple of car batteries. So they had some really cool hydrogen fuel cells apparently, and they didn't keep the technology. They took all the advanced technology, all the paperwork, the CDs, everything, and they just threw it in the garbage. They didn't even bother to share it with mankind, you know. I mean, we could have used that technology. We have people around the world that really need the advanced technology. Well, I didn't do that. I held on to my technology. I put it all in a folder and I saved it because I knew it would be important in the future. So let me go through these wet cell pictures here. Jump right in there. I'm just going to roll through them. You can go back and pause it. It's for you builders out there. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, so I'm just going to let you go through here and look at this stuff. These are my DC motors, DC power supplies. If you got a 24 volt motor, you can put your hand on the end of that motor and spin that wheel and break the water molecule just using your hand. So as soon as you get these motors spinning, you can start splitting the water. It's nice to have those domes because then you can start capturing and recapturing your water and reburning it. It's really cool. You get those from street lights. Like I said, I got to go through these really quick. And you can use lasers with solar panels or LED arrays and make DC power. So I've experimented with that for a little while, just to show it could be done over long distances. Don't forget your thread tape and your bolts and your heavy duty cement. Power supplies. So there's a huge amount of data and information here in this folder on this computer. I'm going to show you guys what's in there. Like I said, I'd show everything. I'm trying to get it all out to you, but it's going to take me a little while to get these videos going. So we're going to cover a whole video on safety and gas welding cutting. I'm going to go through that. And we're going to cover gas regulators. So we got more videos coming, so stay tuned. Okay?